Mission.
Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for watching my channel and watching my YouTube videos and listening to the podcast and all the different things that you do to support the channel. It's very, very, very much appreciated. I got to tell you, when you're behind enemy lines in the People's Socialist Republic of California, doing the absolute best you can to be a gun guy or gun gal, as the case might be, it gets tougher and tougher every year. And that's one of the reasons why I've got a great interview today with Sam Paredes from Gun Owners of California. If you're not a member of Gun Owners of California, you need to be. The first time I spoke to Sam, I wasn't. I promised that I would join, and I did, and I will be a member until I'm dead. So, and let's hope that doesn't happen anytime soon. But let's make sure that you join today. I'm going to have links in the description so that you can do that. Also, if you don't mind, there's one way you can help Gun Guy TV, and that is to shop Amazon using our Amazon link. Now, Amazon's not the most gun-friendly company in the world, but you might as well get some money out of them if you're going to shop them anyway, and I admit I buy things from Amazon. So one way to do that is to go to the link that you now see on your screen. It's on our website. I'll have the link in the description, and click on that banner, and when you do that, anything you buy at Amazon helps us a little bit. They give us a little commission because you found them through our link, and it doesn't matter whether it's gun-related or other stuff. You could buy, dresses or toilet paper or toothpaste or gun stuff. Doesn't matter. Whatever you buy, we'll get a little commission. It doesn't sound like it does a lot, but honestly, it helps a lot. We would really appreciate it. All right, now let's get on to the talk with Sam Paredes. I'm sure you're tired of hearing from me. Sam, thank you very much for being on the show again.
Joel, it really is a pleasure. I very much enjoyed our last conflagration.
We set the world on fire.
Time together. It was very good. You have a bunch of great listeners, lots of whom call us here at the office to talk about what we're doing, how we're doing things, and to get involved. And that was a beautiful thing, man. So thank you very much. You've got a great bunch of visitors. Thank you for what you do, man. We fight the fight in the Capitol, in the courts, in the elections, and you spread the word. People need to know, and you're doing that. So we're a team connected at the hip, man. It's cool.
So what I'd like you to do is just share with me, if you wouldn't mind, the impressions you got from SHOT Show, and whether you think that manufacturers and firearms industry folks are actually willing to help us here, and if so, how much and how?
Well, attendance was down a little bit, but I think partially because of the massive snowstorm in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota, that prevented a lot of people from making it all the way to Las Vegas. But needless to say, it was interesting. Talking with the manufacturers in their present situation where they are fighting very hard, believe it or not, to survive, to continue to grow in this industry and in business, and to talk to them about the 20% of their business that could exist or used to exist in California and what they can do is really a hard sell. They understand. They believe that they're doing their part by being a part of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, which is a good organization. And there are great people involved in that group who are filing lawsuits and lobbying here in California. So I am very grateful to that. But we need more, man. Joel, you know that we need people to support the individual lawsuits and amicus briefs that have to be filed in support of lawsuits, to support the organization so that we can do actually more in elections in order to prevent all of the craziness that's happening in the legislature from happening. So it's a hard sell when people are there trying to sell guns and equipment, to sell them on the fact that they need to be politically active in the state of California, or at least financially active to support those who are fighting the fight for them.
They're kind of like gun owners in California. I don't think they're quite as involved as they need to be. And the message needs to be sent to them, hey, you know what? And I'm not sure how to do that. Is that through an organization like yours? Is that by customers, potential customers in the state of California, contacting these manufacturers and writing them letters and saying, gee, I'd like to buy guns from you if you could actually sell them here? Why, is it possible for me to, how do we motivate them to get more involved?
Yes to all of the above. I think number one, the things that you do and I do by going and talking with the decision makers and those people who are in a position to influence which way a company is going to go is an important thing, because we can share with them our experience. We can share with them suggestions of what the future could look like if they had a little bit of involvement in the state of California. And if they wanted a lot of involvement, how vastly different it could be. You know, for most gun manufacturers, California represents almost 20% of their business. And that, as you mentioned, that number is dwindling, especially for the semi-automatic handgun manufacturers. When you have Smith & Wesson that has only 2 models of semi-automatics on the list, the Shield and the SDVE, and the numbers continue to dwindle, they have to think, oh my goodness. The message I try to tell them is, if you can help us make California good, it would shoot a shot of adrenaline and penicillin into the gun industry. The market would open up, and you would be able to sell all of these guns to fill that pent-up demand for all of the newest, safest, most cost-effective, accurate models of firearms that are now being developed and sold throughout free America, but not here in California. That constitutes 20% of the population.
I got to tell you, if that market opened up, it would explode. I mean, it's just on a positive basis. I mean, sales would just explode, because there is, you described it perfectly, there is a pent-up demand for the various kinds of firearms that Californians are not allowed to have by virtue of the restrictions and laws that violate their Second Amendment rights. If all of a sudden those were available, wow, what a financial shot in the arm to the industry that would be.
It would be huge, Joel. Literally hundreds of new models of handguns could be sold in the state of California. Just the Glock collectors alone would make the gun industry healthy, with being able to buy all of the new models of 4th and 5th generation guns that are out there that they cannot add to their collections. You know, when you go to the SHOT Show, and a lot of people in free America, they go and they see all of the new models and designs of black guns, and they say, how many black guns can you have and how many different configurations? Out here in California, we're going, we can't have any of those. We want them all. Give them to us. We want to buy them. So you're absolutely correct. There is a pent-up demand that is here, and if they had a willingness to work with us, they can open up that pent-up demand like a can of worms. That would be a very positive bunch of tasty worms for them, that would make them very healthy in a very big hurry, at least for a significant amount of time. But
what is happening to fight these laws? And so I guess that's my next question to you. I know that there are a number of legal actions in court already with regard to the Gunmageddon laws. But I don't know what they are in particular, and I didn't know if you had any detail you might be able to share on that.
Sure. We've been working in cooperation with our partners in the Second Amendment fight here in the state of California, and they, of course, include the National Rifle Association, California Rifle and Pistol Association, the Firearms Policy Coalition, the Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners California. Working together is how we're going to make big progress. Well, some of these organizations that have a much deeper pocket have filed the main lawsuits. The NRA with the CRPA in tandem have filed lawsuits on the assault weapons. They filed a lawsuit in state court to challenge the legality and the regulations of the assault weapons laws in the state of California, thanks to Gunmageddon and the Prop 63. They filed one in the federal court on the Second Amendment issue, which I think is a very strong case. Of course, they filed the lawsuit against the magazine ban, the large capacity magazine ban, and they were successful in that in federal district court down in San Diego. There are lawsuits in place by challenging the 10-day waiting period by the Cal Guns Foundation and Second Amendment Foundation. There are lawsuits in place challenging the so-called safe handgun laws, the roster of safe handguns that are making their way through the system. literally, Joel, there are lawsuits challenging virtually everything that we have on the books here in the state of California. And working together, we're making sure that all of those legal bases are covered. You can go to our website and go to our newsletters, or go to the CRPA website and go to their newsletters and go to their litigation report, and you can see all of the cases that are out there pending. You can go to the FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition website, and check all of the litigation cases that they are handling. And there's a list of all of them there. But like you said, passing a law takes less than a year. Fighting it in the courts can take multiple years. But that's what we have to do. That's what we're doing.
The other thing I think that's important to recognize is not only that there are a lot of lawsuits currently in place that are working their way through the very, the cogs of the legal system, which moves very slowly. But you said something that I don't think folks in California are quite aware of, and that is that the various California Second Amendment groups work, it sounds like, pretty closely together. Am I getting that right?
You're absolutely correct. Historically, and I've been involved for a long time, since 1980. I've never known us to be in such a cooperative venture as ever before. Sometimes it's at arm's length. Sometimes it's intricately involved to great detail, and people need to understand there are people with different strengths, just like in the shooting sports. Some guys are great handgun people, couldn't shoot a rifle or a shotgun to save their life. Some guys are great long guns or shotgun shooters, couldn't shoot a handgun for anything, or just kind of good at it. They're familiar with it. And that's how we are in the pro-gun movement here in the state of California. We all come from different strengths and expertise, and we're putting those things together in order to make progress. And I am very happy with the cooperative effort. No matter how bad the situation is, it isn't because we aren't doing everything we can to cooperate and make progress.
And then I'll have the person who say, well, I support them, and I've been supporting them for years, and they don't do anything. How would you respond to that?
Listen, as the executive director of the oldest pro-gun political action committee, I'm here to tell you that is a wholly inaccurate statement. You have the National Rifle Association that's accused of not, taking money out of California, not doing anything here. They have spent significantly more money than they raise in the state of California here in the state, filing lawsuits that cost $50,000 to $150,000 a piece, and they got a whole string of them. They've got a great lobbying operation here. They're involved very definitely. CRPA has stepped up, and they are doing things that better than they've ever done before. The leadership team that they've got right now has got them involved in every aspect of the Second Amendment, and I am proud to be a life member of both those organizations. Here at Gun Owners California, we continue to be the experts in elections, in the lobbying activities in the Capitol, and we are now becoming expert in wrangling other groups together to join to file friend of the court briefs to support the lawsuits that are filed by the main litigants, our partners. And that's all done in cooperation. And Joel, people say, oh, I can't afford to do it. Well, can you afford a box of ammunition? That's all it takes to be a member of any one of these organizations per year. The cost of one box of ammunition.
But we all spend money on stuff that if we really thought about it, we could stop doing that and do it and save a little money doing something else long enough to set aside that $35 annually to join Gun Owners of California, which would be huge.
Thank you for the challenge. We invite anybody to support Gun Owners of California. It's an easy thing to do, and it would be greatly appreciative so we can do what we've done for a long time.
Because people recognize me as somebody who's in the know, which I'm not always, by the way, that will send me questions that are very specific. Like, I've got this particular gun in this particular configuration with this particular attachment or doohickey or widget or whatever. Is that legal? And the obviously, when I get a ton of those, and I can't answer them all. So is there a place or some places where people can go where they can figure that out kind of on their own? Is there a source of information where they can go get that information and know that they're, or at least feel somewhat confident that they're not going to get arrested the next time they go to the range?
Joe, there are multiple locations where people could go depending on what it is that they need. If they want to find out about deadlines as to when the regulations cause something to go into effect, or by when they have to have serial numbers, or registration begins for ammunition, you can go to our website, go to our newsletters on our website, and our blog. We have information on all of those things. It's a quick read. You find out the title that covers the issue that you want to, that you need information on. You read it and you're informed. Then there are partners like the California Rifle and Pistol Association. You go to their website and go to their webinars. They have got a complete set of webinars that answer all of the questions regarding ammunition, assault weapons, California assault weapons, so-called assault weapons, configurations, parts, everything that you can do to stay legal. And you know what, Joan? This book, California Gun Laws, a Guide to State and Local Firearms Regulations, written by Chuck Michelle and Joseph Savoso and all of the attorneys at Michelle and Associates, is invaluable.
That's a fact. That is a great book, and it's worth the money. It's absolutely worth every
First
time.
edition came out about that thick. It's now that thick that they have to update every year. They keep updating it with all of the details you need in order to stay legal. We promote this thing because we want our people to know what the law is and to stay within the laws. It's easy to get. You can communicate with us. We will sell you a copy of this CRPA. We'll sell you a copy of this. There is no excuse for anybody in the state of California not to have all of the laws that affect them, both state, federal, and local, with regards to gun ownership.
One more thing I wanted to talk with you about. You know, we have the gubernatorial election. Actually, a couple things. We have the gubernatorial election coming up, and obviously, Gavin Newsom. Did I say that? I'm sorry. Gavin Newsom. It has a lot of name recognition and wants to be governor. I think Gavin Newsom wants to be president, to be honest with you, but I know he definitely wants to be governor. But we do have some candidates who are pro-gun conservative candidates. Has Gun Owners of California endorsed one? Do you plan to endorse one? Do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, we have not endorsed one yet. We don't usually endorse in those big races until after the close of filing, when we know who all of the candidates are going to be. Every once in a while, well, not every once in a while, often we're surprised with who comes in at the last moment and files to run for an election, and to have endorsed somebody else would have been unwise. So we're going to wait. We will make an endorsement. We will let everybody know where everybody stands on the gun issue, regardless of whether we make an endorsement, but we do plan on doing so. We do have on the Republican side both Assemblyman Travis Allen, and John Cox, who is a private citizen accountant, who are candidates. Both of them are pro-gun. I've had a chance to speak with both of them. I sat at the table with Assemblyman Travis Allen in Public Safety Committee as he was proposing his bill to make California shall issue state, and we were unsuccessful. But I can tell you that these folks are solid supporters of the Second Amendment. Travis Allen is an unabashedly vocal, articulate supporter of the Second Amendment, who, I can say that because before the deadlines for buying your California assault weapons, he called me and left me a message and sent me a text and said, "Sam, what can I get? What can I get before the deadline? I want to make sure that I got what I can get." So that kind of gave me a chuckle. But that's where he is. He's very much like many of us. We will definitely be involved. And before we go, I want to respond to that carbine question you had.
We got a couple of them then. One was the carbine conversion unit, which is made by a company. Oh, golly,
Ronnie, RONI, or
I don't remember. But it's pretty darn cool. What it does is it takes your you remove your slide barrel and return spring and guide rod, and then you put in a bullet guide of sorts, and then attach the upper to it, and now you've got a carbine.
Yes.
And that's pretty cool. You can do it with a Glock or XD or 1911. I think they've got models for all three of that. And I feel stupid that I can't come up with their name, but if I can think of it later on, I'll put the link in the description so people can see it. The other thing that came up is there was a guy I ran into at the Kalashnikov booth at SHOT Show who does executive protection. The guy was hilarious. I will not mention his name. But he was really funny because he was asking me about California law, and he wanted to buy Ronies, the little Roni thing, which I would love to have one to review. If you're watching, Roni. You could send me one and I'll review it. I'll just have to go to Yuma to do it probably. But I know that the Glock store and other stores have been selling a version of that's California legal. But now that the law says you can't have a barrel shroud that you can protect your hand or a forward grip on your pistol, and it's talking all the things about pistols can be kind of confusing.
Yes.
He was asking me, is that legal? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, he's going to John Wick all his stuff. So John Wick has now become a verb. And I said, what do you mean? You're going to bury it and cover it in concrete? He said, yeah, I'm John Wicking my stuff. And I just cracked me up. So now that's a new verb now. If you're going to hide your stuff, you're John Wicking it.
Yeah.
So those were the two that have come up the most, is the Roni and the carbine conversion units.
Yes.
And I think I know the answer, but I don't. So help me out.
Yes. First of all, people should know that, yes, it is legal to convert a handgun into a long gun, a carbine, or it's been done. It's legal under federal law. It's illegal under state law. But under state law, it is, frankly, it's not legal to convert a long gun to a handgun. So don't do that. You cannot turn a rifle into a handgun. That is illegal under both state and federal law. Don't do it. Okay. So,
but you're saying the other way around.
Yes.
Handgun to long gun is legal.
It is legal, but when you configure it, it's got to meet the specifications under California law. And you're right. Anything that you put on that puts on a barrel shroud is going to be questionable. Although now it is a carbine, a long gun, it's going to be questioned. And it's got the forward pistol grip.
And you end up the crash dummy. That's what I'm trying to avoid, right?
Yeah. And actually, responsible companies like Roni have a disclaimer now on the bottom of their website that says that due to changes in California law, this stock will not be available because it will get you in deep doo-doo and you will go to prison and dungeons and dark places.
Or whatever, right, yeah.
Stretch you and give you all kinds of waterboarding and all that kind of so.
Why am I laughing? It's probably true.
I've been threatened with worse than that here in the States.
Jeez, I wouldn't put it past them to waterboard you. I mean, So the Roni is really in my mind, although it's extraordinarily cool, it's really a gigantic question mark. The carbine conversion sounds like if you somehow make it featureless and you build it as a featureless thing, you can do it, which means you got to have some sort of a grip thing that gets rid of your grip, and you can't have a muzzle brake, or you can't have a flash hider, rather. You can't have a forward grip and all that, or a collapsible stock and all that nonsense. So there's got to be a...
That's correct, because remember, immediately when you put a handgun into a carbine kit, you have a conspicuously protruding pistol grip. And remember, an assault weapon is a semi-automatic firearm with a detachable magazine that has one of these features, and one of them is the conspicuously protruding pistol grip.
Is there anything that I did not ask you today that you'd like to talk about that might be on your mind? You held up. We were talking before we started the show. You held up it looked like a Japanese fan full of new bills. Oh my gosh! Okay, go ahead.
11 new pieces of legislation that we are focusing on so far that we have seen, sponsored here in the state legislature. Everything from laws that when communities have gun buyback programs, they will not allow anybody with an FFL to offer gift certificates as rewards in GunGuy buyback programs. We've got bills that that say that people can willingly disqualify themselves and give up their Second Amendment rights if they have suicidal thoughts. That is a very problematic bill. If somebody wants to willingly do that, they don't need a law to do that in the first place. They can just get rid of their guns if they have suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. So if I go down and I put my name on the list, don't sell me a gun. How do I get my name back off the list if I change my mind down the road?
Well, that's the problem. In one of these bills, you basically don't get your name off the list. And another one, you have a process where you can petition to have your name removed. And that needs to be fleshed out. And anytime the government does anything like that, we know it's a can of worms. The federal government has a program like this for all of our returning warriors who have somehow uttered the word PTSD or the acronym PTSD in their exit interviews, and automatically they lose their gun rights. And then they have to petition to get their gun rights restored. And we know that that is a cumbersome and expensive process for our veterans to have to go through. And that's kind of being duplicated here in the state of California. We have problems with that, man. So it goes on. There are some good bills. There are bills that will get rid of the microstamping law, that propose to get rid of the microstamping law, which will open up the safe handgun list to a lot of the guns that we would like to have available here in the state of California. More laws having to do with making California shall issue state-on concealed weapons permits. And
Sam, thank you so very much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate your time. I know you have stuff at the Capitol to do today, so I don't want to hold you any longer, but I'm very, very grateful. We will do this again, just in case you're wondering. Sam is willing to come on the show, repeatedly and talk about this stuff. So you can expect to see him again on GunGuy TV. He's a terrific guest, and I'm very grateful that he comes and he does this. Thank you very much, Sam, for your support and for your hard work on the behalf of California gun owners. It is deeply, deeply appreciated.
Joel, it's an honor and a pleasure, and it's awfully humbling when we hear from our supporters who do give up hard-earned money in order to provide us with the resources we need to fight. Your listeners are a unique, very intelligent group of people I have found with the interaction that I've had with them. I look forward to continuing to interact with them, and I look forward to letting those of our folks who are not involved with GunGuy TV to take a look at it, because it is a great resource. And again, Californians, you don't have any excuse not to be armed and informed. You've got a great resource right here at GunGuy TV, Gun Owners California. It's at your fingertips. Get involved, and we can win. Thanks, Joel.
Absolutely, and please don't be the crash dummy. Have a great week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, I've got links in the description so that you can join Gun Owners of California. It's an easy process, and with Sam's permission, I'll put his email on there too, so in case you don't know what it is, and the phone number so that you can reach them and ask questions. If you have them, you can ask them directly, and then keep an eye out the next time something comes up. We'll have Sam back on the show again. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for your support. Have a great week, and please be safe.